right, thanks everyone for coming today. I really appreciate you guys all coming out. This idea of a roundtable, actually, I've been wanting to do for many, many years, especially to talk with other fellow veterans. So I'm really excited for today. So we'll just get right into it. If you guys could just introduce yourself to the group, and how you came to find that recruiter, or how to sign that dotted line and put up your hand for the oath. How about Alex? Let's start with you.
My name is Alex Secord, with the U.S. Army. I basically joined the military because I came from a heritage of my family being in the military, so it was just a door for me to, break the ice with that one as well. I enjoyed it as well, be serving in the military. But that was like one of the reasons why, just to keep it in the family tree.
Nice. How long did you serve for?
It'll be going on 11 years.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you're in right now?
I'm still technically active duty.
Wow.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's great.
Awesome, thank you. How about you, Tanner?
So my name is Tanner Casares. I was with the Marines, and I did 5 years, so it was 2013 to 2017. I always knew I wanted to be in the military. Like Alex, we have all kinds of family members, Navy, Army, all the above. So I just figured I'd go top dog on this one. And then, I did 5 years as a combat camera, and it was amazing, yeah.
Were you just taking pictures, or were you doing video?
So when I was at MCC SSS, we were actually forefronting like a Marine Corps TV series, essentially. So we were doing, it would like be documentary work, right? We would cover, like, for instance, the first female infantry Marines. We covered them on the School of Infantry East. We covered the first female amphibious assault Marines as well. So like where they would work on like the big, nomenclature is escaping my mind.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. The AAA.
Triple AV.
Yeah, AAAV, yeah. So we covered, all the training that they had to do, being able to dead weight lift, was it like 160 pounds out of the top of one of the AVs. They had to do everything, everything that we did. So it was pretty incredible.
So when I was in the Navy, my last 2 years in, I was an electronics technician, so I worked on radars, communications, GPS stuff, and they call me Twidget, because you carry around a tweaker to like tweak the little adjustments and everything, right? But I actually was really interested in filmmaking, and this was back in '99 or whatever, 2000. And my last deployment as South Pac, I really wanted to start making videos, and so I just started. My friend and I, this other guy, his name's Mo. He's a Japanese guy. I was a Chinese guy. We started our own TV show on the ship, and it was a very like MTV, Tom Green, jaywalking, and we were just going around making people answer stupid questions, like who's the vice president, and they'd be like, stuff like that, right? And then and that's how I learned how to film, how to edit everything, and it was all for fun, and we would just show it within our own ship,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Keep the ships entertained like that with your own. We'll come up like that.
We would do like MTV Cribs kind of style, but on the ship. And so, people would be like, oh, this is where I sleep, but they'd be like sleeping on the missile and stuff like that. And then, the air dents, the guys who flew the helos, they found a little smoke machine, and then they just smoked out the whole helo, and they would come out of the helo like as if they hotboxed in place. Like, oh, what's up, guys? Stuff like that. It was hilarious.
Now we know where our tax dollars went to. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's cool.
Jimmy, how about yourself?
Hi, I'm Jimmy, and this is a unique story how I got interested. I was walking through Union Square, when it was old Union Square, and soldiers and Jeeps parked in Union Square. I went, oh, this is kind of neat. Being a gay man, this is kind of cool. Next year, I'm down at the National Guard unit signing up and taking my oath. And when I got to Fort Sill my first night, I said, what have I got myself into? And I said, I joined because I love my country, and I don't care how tough it is, I will serve my country, and I survived. I'm very proud of being a veteran, serving my country.
Awesome. How long did you serve? Like,
I
from
was
what
Army
era?
National Guard, 83 to 89. I was quartermaster, and unfortunately I had to take an early leave of absence in 83 due to illness.
Great. Chris, how about yourself?
My father was in the Korean War, got a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart.
Whoa.
And my uncle was in Vietnam. He was a missile maintenance. He worked on the Hawk missiles. And so I decided to follow tradition, and I went in the U.S. Army. So we went from 1982 to 2002, spent 20 years in. And my combat tour was over in Bosnia, Herzegovina, and that was a big eye-opener for me. I seen children that were wounded in combat from the mines and all that stuff placed over there. So it affected me in a way of, you know, what are we doing in this world? And but I enjoyed serving my country just like my father and my uncle and my other relatives. And it was a good tour.
Nice. Yeah, myself, I think I have a different story. I actually just didn't get along with my dad at all. You know, all through high school, he would kick me out. I'd be staying with friends and stuff like that. And I had this, you know, mentor from kind of like this Boys and Girls Club I hung out in Chinatown here in San Francisco. And so he was in the Navy and he got out. And for some reason, I thought that was just my only out to get out of the house or whatever. You know, not really well off as a family, so didn't have like an opportunity to go to like a four-year school, and didn't really understand school at all either, like the grants and whatnot. So, but when I heard like, you know, college fund, GI Bill, all that stuff, right? I was like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. I served from 97 to 03, stationed on the USS Oldendorf, it was a Spruance-Can destroyer. And we did, in my time, we did 3 tours of Westpac and 1 in Southpac. And so definitely got to see a lot of the world, slept on the ship a lot. And so just much different life than definitely all my friends had, you know. So what were some either highlights or challenges that you faced during your enlistment?
Well, the challenge was the fact I was 32 years old. Most people were as young as 18. And I'm thinking, how am I going to make it? And the first time we had to do one of them drills where you got the knapsack on and like 500 pounds of stuff you really don't need, and you're marching, and someone behind you says, Mac, you're old. How in the heck are you doing this? I see that man up there. You see that size boot he got? He said, if I don't keep up, he's going to kick my tail. Well, he ain't going to do that because I'm going to keep up. And again, it was young people that encouraged me, and yet at the same time, I was able to encourage them, saying that, you know, you guys are young, I'm older, so we need to work together. And to me, that was the whole idea of joining the service, is making good friends, but knowing that you're looking out for your country so we can have our freedoms, be able to go places, do things. And I'll be honest, I wished I hadn't got sick when I did, because when I put my uniform on, I was a proud soldier.
Nice. How about you, Alex?
I'll say the most challenging thing I had in the service was being in the 82nd Airborne. That was probably the most challenging thing I've ever done.
And for people who wouldn't know what that means, like what that actually is, what is that?
So the 82nd Airborne basically can rapidly deploy anywhere around the world in 18 hours or less. So with that type of background, requires a lot of training, things like that. You know, just a lot of operations that's involved as well, and it's just, it could take a toll on the body, but you know, it's at the end of the day it is rewarding, which is what's pretty cool about it. But
Yeah.
that was the hardest throughout my career.
Wow, that's awesome. Jimmy, could I ask, like, if you know, as a gay man, did you have any challenges being in the military? Or I know, like, you know, that whole era of when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was happening or anything?
Well, like I say, when I went in there, it was kind of tough, but I said, I made my choice, nobody else. So I said to myself, if I back out, it would be the biggest embarrassment, because My grandfather was in the Navy. My brother, rest his soul, was a Vietnam veteran. And I said, I can't do that. I said, I will do the best I can. And one of the things that kind of helped break the ice, because you're always worried, like, is somebody going to find out? Because back then, they could literally beat your ass, or the commander just walk up to you and say, you're out of here. We don't want your kind. But I dealt with it. And but one experience, we're getting ready to do camouflage. We had some drill sergeants. They were your best friends. And there was times you wanted to run the other way as soon as they looked at you. And this one drill sergeant says, we're going to do camouflage, and I have the perfect person that's going to help us out. And I just said to myself, oh, shit. He said, yoo-hoo, Mr. San Francisco. And I'm like, He goes, did you have something to say? I said, no, sir, I don't want to go with the brig. He goes, I'll let you say it this one time. I said, no, I can't say it. I said, I respect you, but just let you know, just because people come from San Francisco, okay? And then when I went to Fort Lee, Virginia, where I did my schooling, one of the guys, he come over and he literally says, you know, we need to have a talk. I said, did I do something wrong? He said, just be open with me, okay? I said, yes, I am. He goes, cool. He said, that's all I wanted to know. He goes, I thought so. He goes, but I could feel the tension. He goes, I just want to let you know, I've always admired you, respect you. When you put your uniform, you took pride in it, and the fact that being a gay man and still serving, he goes, that's amazing. I said, well, it's sad that people judge you because what you do behind closed doors. They should judge you what you're doing in public, which that's what they did. They judged me when I was in public doing really good. And when I was with my National Guard unit down in San Mateo, I always took pride. The minute I put that uniform on, I took pride, and the commander recognized it. And he always appreciated whenever they needed somebody, even though I was quartermaster, they need me in the carpool to help or in the kitchen, I was always there. Unfortunately, I got sick with HIV. I had to take an early leave of absence. And my commander, he says, God, he goes, if there was anything in my powers to change things, he says, I would. He says, excuse me, I get very emotional. He goes, you were one of the best quartermasters this unit ever had. You came up and you respected soldiers. Before, they just grabbed things for granted. He goes, but you taught them respect and dignity. I said, well, that was part of the training I felt that I got from the military. Respect. And respect all your fellow Americans. And that's why I'm proud to be a veteran.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I asked everyone if you could to bring something to share with the group and kind of share why it either has some significance to you, you know, what's so special about it, and maybe hopefully share a story about it and stuff. How about we start with Alex? Can you share with us what you brought today?
So I received this coin on my third deployment to Afghanistan from my commander, Lieutenant Colonel Janal. I got it because basically, you know, playing an important role in the operation we did over there. It was 2019 through 2020.
Wow.
And got this, you know, just for a great role over there.
How'd that make you feel?
I felt great actually because it wasn't expected, and you know, it definitely made me feel like I was definitely a part of, you know, the 82nd at that time. So it felt great to receive this coin.
Cool. Wow, it's amazing. And can you kind of describe what's on there?
So it basically is we're 3rd Brigade, we're Panthers. So this is the Panther logo right here. You got the Jump Master Wings, 2505th, we call it 2P, it's a unit, and the operations we've been on throughout the whole, you know.
That's neat.
That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you. Tanner, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I have my camera.
Yeah, cool.
So the reason why I kind of like have this, and it just always reminds me of my service, is like when I first joined for a combat camera, they never actually gave me the photo video role. You know, with the military, if they find out that you're already good at something, they don't teach you the rest of it. So they switch your role. So I was actually, I worked in the first like year and some change as like a print master. So I would take all the other photographers' photos, I'd print them up and, you know, laminate them and do all that other stuff. But I used to always critique the hell out of them. So until they sent me into the field with my own camera. I bought a Sony at that time. and I had to prove myself. So I always shoot Sony, still stay shooting Sony, and you know, I'm really proud that I had to prove myself, and you know, I outdid the other trained Marines.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Jimmy, how about you?
Okay, the one I forgot to bring was one of our late members, Arch Wilson. He served during World War II, and he gave me his Sergeant-at-Arms pin, which was basically the ribbon and the Sergeant-at-Arms, and unfortunately the one part fell off. I got to glue it back on. But in the meantime, something else was special. October 4th, we had a wonderful event here in this building, in this room, where we invited like over 200 visiting people for Fleet Week, and got to meet them and did a group picture. And towards the end, one of the commanders came up to me and said, on behalf of the USS Vincent, we'd like to present this to you. And if you'd like to see that, and the Fitzgerald, excuse me, I'm sorry, the Fitzgerald. I heard Vincent earlier, but the USS Fitzgerald, when you get old, it's tough. And for him to give that to me was just such an honor. It's things like this that I will carry this for till the day I go, that it meant a lot. Some people say, it's just a coin. I said, well, to you, it just may be a coin. But to veterans, it's something very special. When someone gives you something like this, it's meant to give to you as honor. And it's just, I get sentimental when people give me things like that. I appreciate it very much, because when you look back at it, years, you look back and say, oh, I remember when this happened that day, and got to meet so many wonderful veterans.
Mm-hmm. Chris, how about yourself?
I got a lot of coins when I was in, but this one I got from Commissioner William Barnacle, who's a Veterans Affairs Commissioner for San Francisco.
Wow.
And I was having a hard time with homelessness and trying to survive in San Francisco on $1,200 a month. That was my military retirement. And Swords to Plowshares got me into a place, and I kind of went up from there and gradually built back up and got my benefits, and because I was suffering from both mental health and physical disabilities. And Commissioner Barnacle, when he gave that to me, it's got his commissioner on it and his name. It says integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And so that I take that to heart, and that means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. And he's an Air Force veteran, and what I liked most is that veterans coming together, whatever branch they're in, coming together and doing good things for the community and doing things for other veterans, and it means a lot. It means a lot. So that's what this means. I carry it with me everywhere I go.
Thanks. Thanks for sharing that.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah. So I brought a picture. It's actually a picture of my family. And this was from 2001 Fleet Week. And we came to San Francisco. And it was literally the first time they ever came onto my ship. It was my mom, my dad, my brother, his wife, and my grandpa. And it has a lot of significance to me because, you know, they honestly did not know anything about what I was doing or had no clue other than movies and whatnot, right? But, and, you know, having that really bad relationship with my dad, it kind of, it put something new into him that saw me on this ship working with all these people, like being responsible for millions of dollars of equipment, right? And, you know, that was like literally the first time he ever said he was proud of me. Wow. You know, that time he visited. You know, we're not a family that even says like, I love you or what a good job kind of thing, you know? But it was like literally the first time he said that to me. And so it meant a lot. And it's just kind of like this, this moment of, it's kind of weird. It's this moment of like, not necessarily being accepted by my family, but being like almost accepted as like as if like I was like a true American kind of feeling, because like just growing up, you know, it's like balancing two different cultures, you know? And so, but having them, like a small family of Chinese people walking through a ship and with all these other people, and everyone's wondering like, what's going on? Who are these people, you know? But then, you know, all of a sudden they also felt proud to be an American too, be in this country as well, because their son, you know, was serving, you know, for the country and stuff like that. So it was like a really, really great moment, just having them see what I do. And yeah, and it, you know, forever that memory, it's just will be with me forever. So for some reason, a tough part of adjusting back to, and it's always weird for me to say civilian life because I always kind of feel like a civilian, but I guess I'm not and I am. But to adjust back to civilian life, it's a little bit tougher because we're so used to this structured life, you know, having food cooked for us sometimes and having the medical bay ready for us and knowing what we're gonna do from literally 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day and stuff like that. So just wanted to hear like how was it that transition back to civilian life?
With 20 years in and retiring, I'm still working on getting acclimated back. Because you get in that military mindset, and you look at, like, I go back to my combat tour, and I have flashbacks of seeing those kids in the situation they were in, and it just it affected me a lot, and so it's taken a while. I've got PTSD. And I suffer from depression because of my physical injuries and stuff like that.
And just to get into it a little more, like for me, the doctor said I had PTSD, but it was just an adjustment disorder. And it was just like, you know, going into a new environment, new setting, and hard to figure out how to do that. But for you, like, was it something you seeked out help for, or was it something?
Absolutely.
I did feel that, like, before seeking help and that it wasn't, I don't know, it's a weird thing because, like, I know a lot of my friends suffered a lot of mental health problems, and they were still in and I was out, and just hearing what they were going through, it kind of, you know, I felt really bad for them, but I never thought that whatever I was going through was as serious as what they're going through. So I never thought that I should go get help, you know what I mean? And so I think for some reason, once the doctor gave me a real diagnosis or whatever, like named it, then it kind of became more accepting, and then I was more accepting to find help and get help kind of thing. Right. But before that, I was kind of trying to just avoid it, or at least not name it, at least, or something like that. I don't know if
to go on top of that as well, I mean, it's a military thing in general, I feel like, where they kind of teach you to not seek out help. So it's, you know, if you're seen at the medical office, you're weak, right? So
yeah,
unfortunately, that's the you know, the gun club motto, but at the same time, absolutely, you should reach out. Like, it's not going to make you a weaker person.
Yeah. I didn't get my treatment until 7 years after I was out. It wasn't until I got to San Francisco that I got that help. San Francisco's got the best VA, I think, out there. And they took me through, they said I had a personality disorder. And so I had to kind of grasp that because I wasn't used to hearing that. And but I went through the different programs that they've got for mental health, and it's helped me to come back out of a shell and get back into society and stuff like that, and appreciate being around my fellow veterans and not worrying about, well, I got to worry about this is coming back and in my mind and stuff. And it's helped me grow and move forward, move on with my life. And helping other veterans get through it, knowing veterans coming out of service, not prepared because they weren't briefed ahead of time. Because when you're in, let's face it, the op tempo is like really strong. We worked 18-hour days when I was in Bosnia, 7 days a week. And so you're programmed into that. And so coming out, it takes a while to decompress. That's what I'm looking for, is decompress and get back into a normal life with your fellow people in the country, fellow citizens and stuff.
Can I add a comment that I'm glad you got that help, because years ago, my family wanted to send me to a psychiatrist because of homosexuality. And as soon as you mention psychiatrist, oh, no, that's sick, it's absurd. But today that you can get the help, and I'm so glad you were able to receive that help being a veteran. And there's a lot of people out there that need help, and I know we're going to talk about that, is we need to start reaching out to these people. Don't wait for them. Sometimes people were afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to reach out and say, is there anything we can do for you as a fellow veteran? Do you need help? Come on, let's get you in here and get the proper medical help, whatever, regardless. Just to sit down and talk with somebody, if it'll help you, that's what we need to do more of. And I'm so glad that you were able to get that treatment, because you deserve it. As a veteran and as a person, no one should be denied that treatment. I'm so glad you're doing better.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's great to hear. Is it as like an active, being active, is it more talked about now as far as taking care of your mental health? Or?
Especially from everybody's time in the service, it's definitely changed a lot. But
Good.
I will say, it's brief to you, but you have to, as a soldier, Marine, anybody, you have to kind of, push yourself as well to go get the treatment as well.
Yeah.
But I will say sometimes those things aren't thrown out to a soldier or whatever, service member, but it's definitely briefed to go get help if you need it. It's just up to the soldier to go get the treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps when other veterans, kind of see that, and they reach out. And I don't want to leave a veteran behind.
Right.
Because they didn't leave me behind when I was in combat. They didn't leave me behind when I was going through the training right next to them. Everybody was, hey, let's pick them up and bring them along if you need, if somebody needed it and stuff like that.
I had a friend that he was kind of sharing to me that it was tough because, he was doing like these group therapy sessions with other veterans, but it just felt not weird, but there's like this term called like imposter syndrome, where you feel like you don't belong there because like he's probably like in this group with other veterans that either like lost a limb or something more severe, where he was just more, I guess, depressed, but he didn't feel like he belonged as far as like being injured or having something wrong with him. And like, so sometimes when other veterans can, talk to each other and invite each other and just share their story, like whether how good, bad, whatever, worse it is that you're going through, that, everyone's going through their own journey, and it's very different. But I think at the same time, we all deserve to get help. And, because, what we've sacrificed, what we've done, for our country and stuff. And it's just, hopefully they can offer the service, but it's obviously for us to, go in there and get the service. But at the same time, we have to try to share that, whether it's how easy it is or whether how accepted it is, or, it's not like something that makes you weak or something that's like, a bothersome for other people, right? Because like you might feel like, oh, I can do it on my own. I don't want to bother my mom or dad to take me or whatever, right? It's like, we want to try to, make sure everyone is okay, you know what I mean?
That's very important.
So what could we say, let's say, for example, for Alex who's still serving, what could we say or advice for him as far as like taking care of his mental health, or, even, because one day, I don't know if it's soon or later, you're gonna get out of the service, but what's some like advice that we've learned as far as mental health that we could pass on to Alex?
I think you should be able to go in and see if you're having depression or you're having a moment, you should be able to go into the TMC and be seen without having repercussions of, oh, he's got depression now. We got to look at what he's doing. Because it's not like that.
Right.
We can still function and still do our jobs, but have depression and have PTSD. We just need maybe some coping skills, you know. But we're still an active part of getting the job done and getting the mission done. And so that's what I would tell you is, you know, don't be afraid to go in and talk to them and tell them what's going on and stuff like that. So.
I just say, I recommend if you have access that definitely go for it. Because as I said years ago, if you, even as he said, you mentioned, put that person back at the end of the line. We don't want them up front because they're nuts already.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that we're nuts. We have emotional problems. And being an active person, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to go to the person and say, hey, I'm having a little problem. Can we have a sit down talk? That should not be now. You should have that instantly, okay?
Yeah.
Because he went through a lot. It was tough, but he finally got the help. And the fact you're still young now, I would not like to see you come out to the point where you'd be like, they just didn't care about me. No, that shouldn't be. You're an active soldier. They should be taking care of you immediately. And as well as retired veterans, there should be no questions asked. If you need help, you should be able to get that help instantly.
Absolutely.
Instantly. And that's my opinion. When you deny veterans, it's a slap in the face to all the veterans in this country.
Yeah.
It is.
I echo what a friend of mine told me, that every veteran should have free medical.
Yeah.
And that free medical should go all the way to dental.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. Yes, indeed.
And that, I definitely echo that. Every veteran who serves should get free medical, period.
So funny enough, in the Marine Corps, we used to call this psychiatrist, because psychiatrist to me is like a no-no word, you know. They're always like, no, don't talk about that kind of stuff. But we used to call them wizards. Wizards, because I mean they do magic. So yeah, whenever we'd have like our Marines, and you know, when I picked up sergeant too, I always tried talking to my Marines to make sure to get them help. Because the NCOs that I had prior, they were not like that.
Right.
You know, they would almost do everything in the opposite to keep you away from the medical or from psychiatrists or anything like that. But it's not a sign of weakness. It's honestly, if it's more a sign of strength on you. Because you're being able to actually recognize that something is off and I need help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. And lastly, this is the last question, and thank you so much for sharing. I know it's a tough but more accepted topic to talk about, you know, and especially if we're not either experts or whatever, and we just don't know how to talk about mental health. But it's definitely a great conversation to have, especially hearing from, you know, fellow veterans and stuff like that. But lastly, so knowing what you know now, all your experiences, good and bad, would you do it all over again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think so too.
Of course.
I think I always say there were a lot more negatives than positives, but I definitely came out a much better person. And, you know, and something like that, I would have, you know, something you just can't take away. And like, I couldn't even imagine my life if I never went in and stuff like that, so and served. So that's why I feel like, you know, of course there's gonna be negatives of every single experience you have, whether it's college, marriage, you know, different chapters in your life, but you know, what you learned from it, who you know, met, and the friendships and all the things all the other positives, you know, because obviously we pay attention to the negatives a lot, and that sticks with us a little more, but definitely would do it again. Anyone else want to comment?
I would do it again because the unique part was I went in as an old man. I was grandpa. I went in literally 32 years old.
That's insane.
32 years old, and the drill sergeant said, "Grandpa, what you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I just love the wardrobe and the combination of fabulous, and the meal is wonderful. I mean, if you just could bring me in a little, ring the bell in the morning." He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to ring your bell." And I said, it was such a unique experience that I thought, I'm not going to be able to make it. But I said to myself, as the old saying, you made the bed, you sleep in it. And I said, I will be determined to do this. The discipline part was easy. Like I said, the old days when grandma would say, I will knock you over that balcony if you look at me cross-eyed. But again, it was a unique experience, and I would gladly do it again because I love my country. I love helping people like that, and it's a unique experience.
Thank you guys so much for coming today and sharing. Really appreciate it. I think like we all said, we need to just reach out to more veterans, just start a dialogue, just, have that excuse to just say, hey, what's up? And, just have maybe a coffee or something, just see how they're doing and check on each other, from time to time and stuff like that. And lastly, just want to really, really thank One Vet, One Voice for getting you guys all together, giving us this space to film. So really appreciate them as well. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Just give you a heads up, looking out for each other. And that's what I'd love to see more people do, just the random acts of kindness. And I want to thank everybody here for being here and this production staff for having us. It was a real honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Real honor.